Hey, good morning. And this is Omar from Indian boarding school. I'm 10th grade student, and well, currently I got an English project to record. It's something about a tutorial. Ups. It could be anything related to digital work that we do. And since I'm a designer class, I'm more of an artist actually. So I'm here to give out some tutorials and tools about Medibang Paint. First, as you know, a drawing application for art usually has this tool, the brush tool. Commonly, it's used for brushes and drawing, right? Mm, Everyone knows this tool, so the basic tools are brushes and erasers. Sorry, it might be a little noisy here, but okay. First of all, the brush parts. Right here is the resizement of the brush. The higher the number gets, the thicker the brush gets. Okay, get back. Normally, depending on the size of the frame, I keep it at number 3. It's the best size to get for pencils. And here is the visibility of it, transparency level. It's easier to show it in a huge size. I'll give it 100. No, 100's enough. Yeah. Okay, fine, 98. Let's say 100%. This is a transparency at 100%, so it's completely visible. Meanwhile, when you decrease it, it became completely transparent, as in you can see it through a different color. I normally use transparency at low to shade something. As for the shadows, either shadows or highlights, yeah, it's actually a good way to keep shades for me personally. Oops. Then the eraser tool. Oh wait, before the eraser tool. For the pencils, we have a lot of types here. There's for the brush tool. I mean, there's pencil, pen. Uh, yeah. I don't really switch much between each other, but pencil and pen don't seem to be much different, other than sizes. That is, it's not that different. But the default is usually 8 for pen. Sharp pen is both sharpened at the edge. Pencils and pen don't really have difference, except their original thickness default. Meanwhile, a sharp pen starts sharp at the end and at the end of each ends, each corners. For the G pen, I'm not even sure. This is like the actually it's like marker. Usually you see markers do this kind of hang on, randomized side thing. I don't even know the definition of this, but give me a sec. Erase everything and let's just say this is something like a marker. The mapping pen, I'm not sure either. I never use any other pens except pencil and pen. But there's also this edge pen where you only color the edge and the center is white. The outline. Staple pen is like a pen that's almost out of ink. Okay, the rest here is just paint. Oh yeah. Also for blur. Hang on. Let's say oh, take it as this. If I use blur, like this one, it'll kind of mesh out the color. So sometimes I did this after shading with a transparency. I'll give you an example. Hang on, pencil, and then let's give it purple. Transparency, thin. Then, oh, before that, I'd like to return this to 3 first. Sorry, I'm a bit sick. For blur, kinda max out the color right there, so really looks like a shade. I'm doing this not with full wheel, so this is just as done as it gets. How should I put it? This is not how I do it when I draw, but this is just how it makes out. It looks like it's actual shade. Meanwhile, the smudge one here, usually used to smudge colors around. They're good for mixer, but you don't want to use mixers like this in paint, except when you're drawing something like doodles. This is literally like mixing two colors into one. Even the outside works. Anyway, let's... Oh, alright. So for the pencil, you can control its sharpness. Actually, it's correction. The one right here, it's called a correction. So the default was 0, okay? When... Hang on. When you draw something at 0 correction, it goes exactly as where your mouse cursor goes. But if you keep a higher correction, let's say at 10, it delays a little bit. 10 is not high enough. Normally, people don't keep it higher than 20 because it delays a lot above those, but 27 is actually good enough for me. Say if I put it at 0, this is how it goes. Meanwhile, if I put it at 27, it goes quite not bad for the delay. So it's kind of used to, let's say when you're drawing a character in this software. Then there is also for the part in the layers. We'll talk about layers later, okay? Second, okay, I'm gonna make a bit of a size and erasers. We all know what erasers are for. And there are two types of eraser. I never bother switching between both. So next there is this tool when you can actually make a shape. So this is kind of like where you make straight lines or squares is even possible. But you need to make sure it's straight properly. Okay, give me a sec. Let's say circle. Alright. What should I do? Whatever, just keep this as our image now. And then there's this move tool. So this literally moves an entire layer. You see here? This one here is the layer, so if you choose this button and add, it adds another layer. The layer, there are two layers, okay? The first layer is the one with this thing here. The second layer is an empty layer. So the higher the number of the layer is the layer that's at the very top. The lowest layer would always be the first layer. Let's say I do something like this. These are in two different layers, okay? So when I move it, it only moves one part. from the same layer. This is the second layer. Meanwhile, if I move to layer 1, it only moves the first one. But even if the drawing is not connected, as long as it's in the same layer, it would still move along. So this literally moves an entire piece, the entire thing you draw in the layer, just like this one. But I'm not gonna mix them both. And this one is block maker, fill tool. In Microsoft Paint, I'd usually use tools like this, but here, nah, I'd rather use pencil. And of course, every art software has a paint tool. And look here. For paint, there are two types, canvas and layer. So if you choose layer, let's say number 1, it'll paint the entire layer, the entire thing on that layer. This one here is in layer 2. This one's the first layer. So as long as the color is covered on that layer, it won't be colored. But from other layer, like the second layer, this one was not colored yet. So if I color here, it would stay. But if I color it here, the back would disappear, because it literally colors a full layer. So it ignores other layer at the bottom, whatever the color is, whether it's colored or not. Also, there's a canvas one. Canvas one is the one that would color one by one, like in any other coloring ways would. No matter what layer you're in, that's the spot where it colors. It follows the outline of the shape. Then this one is gradient. So take for example, let's switch. You can switch between both of these, okay? I'll take yellow. Then, oops. Let's make another layer. Third layer, move it at the bottom. Number 1 would always start as a bottom layer, but depending on the number of layer you increase, the very bottom part here would be the last layer. The very top layer would be the first layer. So, yeah, there. Hang on, let's just color these first. I'll divide them into 3. Orange, oh wait, no. Paint, orange, then green, and purple. I think it's better if it's in their own layer. And green, then layer 3. For this one, the gradient, you could just pull this gradient straight and it'll make a gradient. So the shorter you pull, the less the gradient would look like it's dividing the color, but the longer it gets, the better the gradient gets. A gradient creator could go anywhere. It all just depends on how you want it to. I don't know if you can do 3 colors here though. I've never really tried that. Next is the select tool. It's a selection part where, yeah, literally any. I've never used a selection tool, so I don't know what a selection tool for, but there's this one where you can move them around. The regular square selection block. And there's the one where you could draw the selections. I'm not good at precision, so make it obvious. Oh, and the magic wine tool. I forgot. The fun part of this one is like it's select the entire color that you click on. It has to be the same color, that is, like that one. But it won't. Hang on. Yeah, it'll select an entire color of that part, as long as it's the same color. And there's also this. What's this? Oh. Okay, let's take a big pen. Oops, too big. Too small. A little bigger. There. Do this. Then the okay, just forget about that one. I never use selection eraser. Just don't bother. This one's the text tool. Yeah, you know what the text tool for? It's for writing. This one is an operation tool. I don't know whether these two for. But the last tool that I want to talk about too is this tool. Oops. Yeah, leave it at that. The eyedropper tool copies literally every color you press it on. Like literally any, not only one kind. If you've ever used this any kind of drawing apps or drawing softwares, yeah, you'd know what's this for. But there is this, the hand tool. So it's the one that moves you freely. Since I'm on PC, I'd have to use these two to move around, but the hand tool is a good shortcut for this. Still, it's quite far down, and you don't want to move literally like anytime you want to move your screen view. You don't want to click this down here. So there is a shortcut. First, control, and press control and space. Wait, control space. Wait, shouldn't it be control space? Or was it shift? Shift space. What the hell? Wait. No. Wait. Oh yeah, I forgot. Shift space to rotate. Shift space. Oh yeah, there is this control T thing where it moves an object. I'm never really sure either how, but to activate it and deactivate it, you have to press control T. I don't know why, but there is supposed to be a shortcut. Uh, I don't know what happened here, but for now, let's just use this tool, okay? For now. I've only used this app once before. Or software. Okay, so the next thing here is the layers. Let's say you wanna shade any one of these. Since I'm on layer 2, I'll just shade this one. I'll add 2 layers. I'll use this for later on. This will be used later, but the 4th layer first. I'll give it a good shade of yellow. Add a size. Good enough. And there. Wait. So first, when you shade, you want to erase these parts, right? You don't want them to stick around. So there's a way to handle this one. There's where is it? No, clipping. There, lock one is supposed to lock the entire thing. I think I've never used lock, but for clipping, if you press clipping, it'll move to the side. So once it does this, it'll follow along what's under the second layer. So if it's an empty room or empty space, nothing will happen. Nothing will happen. But you can only color under, or actually rather above, the one that's already colored at the previous layer. So even if I try to color this part, it won't happen. But if I do it here, I didn't press my mouse yet. it'll just keep on coloring itself. Yeah, keep it like keep it like this. Oh, and there's also the Protect Alpha one. I forgot what's Protect Alpha for. Anyway, uh, what else? Oh yeah, this one. So let's say change it to overlay. No, leave it at normal first. Add this screen, paint bucket, change it to layer, paint. I'll give it purple. Paint the entire thing, and when you change it to overlay, that happens. Hang on. Where's the gradient? Gradient. Not forget about the gradient. Purple was a bad idea. I'll give it. Okay, once again, overlay. How did I do it last time? Well, not like it's really used though, so basically overlay is supposed to like hang on. I'll give it an example with this. At this size and capacity. So basically overlay would do something like you see there? It thickens the color, it changes it. It just covers over that little color. Protect off. Nope. When you turn it to normal back, it's all blue. All blue. Fifth layer, paint bucket, light. Okay. Let's just. Where's the delete one? Hang on. I forgot how to delete it. I'll just throw it out. I forgot how to delete it. Then add another layer above. Nope. Add layer. This will be the very top layer. So what I meant to do was when you did overlay, it was supposed to do something like there. Oops. No clipping. Yeah, something like this. It covers the entire screen as long as it's at the very top layer. And then when you lower the opacity of it, it'll just like change the color to transparent, hot, or even to opaque. It's basically like this control here. Well, for now, that's all I can do. Oh, and this is not my personal project, it's a school project I was given by my teacher, so I don't really have much planned to do. Well, I guess that's it. That's all I can remember about this software. Alright, thanks for watching, and If anything happen, please check a different tutorial. This one's not much of a help as much as the other one because I'm not really much experienced with. I don't really have much experience with this software yet. Oh yeah, by the way, I don't know if my sound really got heard. If you can really hear my sound, but there are a lot of people in the class beside. I'm actually recording right now. Well, that's it for now. I'll see you guys later.